All right, guys, and we are back for Game 3. The Tough Bananas versus Team Megashock. And I'm actually going to bring in a co-caster here. We're going to have What is Hip coming in. He's the JeeDota typical caster. What is Hip? How are you doing, man?
I'm doing great, dude. It's been a nice day here in Boston. The weather's been nice, been relaxing. Happy to be casting with you.
What is the weather like in Boston? Because I live in Washington, where it's pretty much constant rain. We get like 20 good days of summer where it's nice, sunny, and 70 degrees, and the rest is just abysmal rain constantly. It's not heavy rain, but it's just constantly overcast. And sometimes we look up in the sky and see this great big golden orb, and we all fall to our knees and wonder what is that, because we just never see it pretty much
Yeah,
ever.
so it's pretty nice usually. It's usually a little colder than you would expect because it's by the ocean. In the summer it's nice. It's always really windy, but nice here. I like it. I'm from Connecticut originally, so it's a little different, but so we're in the ban phase right now. We've got some pretty standard bans with all of the new heroes. Shadow Demon is an interesting first ban, but I know he was in the last game, so
Yeah, it seems like a lot of teams just either choose to leave him out completely, or they think he's like first pick or ban material. And I think a lot more teams are catching on to the fact that he really is first pick material. I mean, he's versatile enough where it doesn't solidify your lineup by having him first pick. And he's also an incredibly strong hero. Just he can both support and be a solo. He's a great solo.
yeah.
And he also scales really well into late games. So it looks like we're going to see Beastmaster, and then over on the other side, we're going to have Nature's Prophet and an Invoker being banned out, and a first pick Animage coming out. What do you think about that, Hip?
So something I've been noticing a lot about Animage lately, obviously we've had a lot of new heroes entering the pool, so it's been a little harder for people to instantly ban out Anti-Mage or to justify it. So as a result, we're seeing him in a lot more games. But because of that, it seems like a lot more teams are coming up with good answers. You know, good stun locks, dealing with him earlier in the game, getting some good ganks off on him. So we'll have to see. I mean, he's still obviously a huge threat in that late game once he gets pretty beefy. You know, if gets left to his own devices with a Battle Fury, then he's horrifying in the late game. But we'll have to see. I mean, I know Team Tough Bananas Calculus is a veteran of Dota, so I'm sure he's got some tricks up his sleeve, and we see him picking up Windrunner and Venomancer.
Wow, very. They knew exactly what they
Yeah,
wanted. And
quick
they
picks.
picking up the Shadow Shaman and the Enchantress like instantly. They knew exactly what they wanted. And yeah, I agree. I'm not really sure if Animage is really first pick material anymore. I mean, he is a very strong hero, and they did ban out Shadow Demon and Beastmaster, two heroes that are very good early on in locking him down. Of course, Shadow Demon with the intro of Shadow Demon, who is a great counter to Animage, and then of course the resurgent of the Riki, as we see Calculus being picking up that hero. His resurgent times very well with being able to counter Animage. I mean, he's a great hero. If you ever get any sort of stuns on top of a cloud on an Animage, you're just done for. He's so squishy, and on top
Yep.
of that, all the extra agi damage that Riki provides just can crush an Animage so quickly.
Yep, absolutely. I think that so far they're doing a good job coming up with a couple picks to really deal with that. I'll be interested to see who their final bans are. Not at all surprised to see the Tidehunter ban, especially I caught the tail end of the last game, and his ravages they're so effective even into the late game. You know, they take up 80% of your screen and just stun for like 2 seconds. It's
Yeah, absolutely. As long as you hit good ravages. Toward the
yeah,
middle of the game, sort of the early mid game, he didn't really hit the best ones. But he definitely, I mean, once you hit level 16, it's really hard
yeah,
not to
hard
miss
to
your
miss.
ravages at that point.
Half a mile wide, small city block.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. And we also see Darkseer ban. I know he was in the last.
Yeah, he did provide, I mean, of course, that vacuum. I've seen less and less of Darkseer, and he hasn't been banned a whole lot. I mean, every single game I see him, um, it's always usually a counter to Broodmother or a setup. A little bit less likely, but he's usually a setup, as we had last game, to some combos. You know, Tidehunter is, of course, a great one, but and honestly, he's just really dropped off ever since his Aghanims, and he's got a couple
Yeah.
of nerfs, and the Aghanims nerf especially. He's just dropped off completely, and it's nice to see him a little bit in this game, like he had last game. This time he's going to be banned. We're going to see Enigma and Leshrac being banned out, and a Vengeful Spirit being the fourth pick. What do you think about Lucky One's picks so far? I mean, what do you think is going to be his final fifth pick here?
Well, I probably expect to see some kind of like semi carry out of him. In the previous games I've casted of him, I'm pretty sure they've used Vengeful Spirit a few times, and I'd probably expect them to run either with like a kind of a tri-lane in the top with Enchantress, Vengeful Spirit, and Anti-Mage, obviously, with Enchantress jumping into the jungle to pick up those creeps. Shadow Shaman running mid, and then, maybe someone to run solo bot, so someone like Mirana would not be a good pick, but not Broodmother. I was going to say Broodmother, but not with that Sand King pick. So I don't know.
Yeah,
But
they don't have a whole lot of options left open to them. I
Yeah.
mean, like you said, that Sand King pick counters the Broodmother very, very well if they were even going to go for it.
First smart pick by Calculus.
What's that?
First smart pick by Calculus right there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Sand King's already all round just a great hero, but he also counters Broodmother so very well. And so now we're just waiting on the 5th pick, and it looks like Lucky Ones is going to take all the extra time that he needs to try and figure it out. You're either looking at, like you said, a solo bottom or a suicide lane solo. And for suicide lanes, there's not a whole lot left open to him. I mean, you already have the Windrunner, the best one, and then on top of that, Riki and the combination of slows from Venomancer is going to be very hard for any suicide lane. So, like you said, I don't think Mirana's a decent little semi-carry, but I don't think she's a good pickup in this regard. I think Riki's just going to dominate her pretty much. So really, I'm trying to think what's left in the pool. I wish I had like a hero pool that I could look at.
Yeah,
it's just really obnoxious just trying to think of them.
Little cheat sheet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I'm checking out the bans here, and it's interesting. In the beginning, Calculus kind of hinted towards a super strong push lineup, but Clockwork. Okay, that makes sense. That was definitely one of the options left, and pretty good in that suicide lane. That's probably the laning I expect them to. He doesn't really have a hard counter either. Last pick.
Right. Yeah, I like that pickup. We haven't seen a lot of Clockwork. Hardly at all. He really hasn't entered Dota 2 strongly at all. At any point. I mean, he hasn't really been a regular pickup. We occasionally see him like he is now in a 4th or 5th pickup. In this regards, I think he's going to do relatively well. He's going to be a decent solo. I was going to really hoping. Of course, I wanted the Beastmaster Suicide solo, but that was a 3rd ban on Lucky One. That would have been a really good one, but
yeah, he's been really popular lately. I don't know if you've watched too many AL games, but like a couple months ago, like 2 months ago, they started using him a lot. They ran him solo mid a ton with Musica, and that was when they really started getting a lot of their success. He controls the runes really well and just helps the team those ganks, obviously with Roar. And it was interesting to see a lot of teams start playing him more and more. So I'm not really surprised to see those sort of bans. I'll be interested to see the last pick here by Calculus.
Yeah, I mean, like in the first game, like you even have the versatility. Like Beastmaster went up against a Viper, and he actually maxed out his axes first, and he actually went the rest of it into the Aura, which of course then pushes the lane and gives him the opportunity to rune control very well. And he just dominated with it. The first game, he was just every single time he was in middle half of the time. The other time he was ganking. Every single time he did, he got a kill off of it, which is really. I mean, I was talking about it. It's really, you can't let that happen. You can't have the mid roaming around and getting a kill every single time he's outside a lane. Because Viper just sat there in mid and tried to farm up, but of course, you're not going to outfarm a Beastmaster who's grabbing all these extra kills left and right. So we're going to see a CM being picked up by Calculus for their final pick. So that is going to be the lineup. And what do you think? Do you have any hedging any bets on either team? What do you think, Kit?
Well, I'm not really sure. Megashock had been playing really, really, really well near the end of the last season. They went up against AL in the finals of the last season of the JeeSports Championship, and they went 2-1, which is pretty impressive against a team like AL. But Calculus's picks were really smart. They have a really strong early game, and with Riki, they have a really strong late game. I mean, they're not. You're never guaranteed first blood, but with Windrunner, Venomancer, and CM, first blood is it's pretty likely. So that's going to give them a little bit of a push in the beginning. We'll have to see. I really like picks that Lucky One made for the later game. Obviously, with the end, they're just going to have to make it out of the laning phase without getting obliterated. And I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And Enchantress is going to be a huge part of that. It looks like they're already setting up. Windrunner is going to be coming forward, and she does have the wards. It's not often that you see this sort of suicide lane having the wards, but maybe they aren't actually. Yeah, actually, Venomancer is just giving the wards to Windrunner and backing up here. So we are going to be tri-lane v tri-lane. I don't know. These lanes are a little iffy. I don't know if it's just my brain isn't working or what exactly these lanes are going to be in. Are they going to have a 2-1-2-2-1?
Good question. I was wondering the same thing. Because Sand King looks like he's gonna do a little bit of creep blocking. Calculus definitely gonna run into that suicide lane. Venom Manager makes sense in the middle, and then I think they will run 2-2-1. That'd be really.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, mainly because they don't need two heroes to keep out of Clockwork. I think CM by herself is going to be doing just fine. And while it's nice with the tri-lane just being able to pull, as you see, there's already a ward there. So they wouldn't be able to stack and pull and get that extra experience, only from the easy camp. So having that, and then especially going up against Shadow Shaman, Venomancer is a very good babysitter in the mid. He does relatively well. Even though, personally, I really like CM middle better, but maybe that's just because I've been running, CM Morphling mid all the time with my team. But so Clockwork's going to be kept out of lane very, very heavily, and Windrunner's going to have a little bit of better time at bottom. She's going to be able to at least get a couple levels, maybe just purely through experience. But still, though, anytime that you're talking about any sort of locking stun combined with Animage, you have to be very, very careful. She doesn't get her wind run off in time, and she has a lot of mana burn. She's not going to be able to come into lane very quickly, and she's going to lose out on a lot of experience as long as they keep the lane back. Vegetable Spirit already throwing out a stun, but she's taken quite a bit of harassment from this Windrunner, and Windrunner didn't throw any mana for Windrun, so she's been already doing very well. Calculus is, he's proven the last 2 games to be a very competent player, especially in the Suicide solo lanes. Meanwhile, at top, Clockwork's just getting kicked out of lane. Shadow Shaman's doing a decent job in middle right now with the, oh man, that Tornado's just so rough. Enchantress picking up the Wildkin, crushing him.
That is one of the funniest skills. I love that. Lucky One, I think, is gonna be okay in this lane as long as he plays pretty cautiously. With the Gale and obviously the Burrow Strike, that could be a really nasty combo from late game or early game rather. He has not that much health.
Actually, bottom Calculus taking a lot of damage from, but he finally gets off the wind run. So a nice little combo there, getting the stun, and they did a lot of damage with the Animage, but he does get out with 90 health. A rocket actually coming in, almost barely missing out on that one. I was hoping he would at least be able to pop the potion. But Clockwork doing what he can in pretty much what is a non-existent lane at this point. He just sits there, waits for CM to come harass him, and then backs off every single time. And Ricky's just going to be free farming all because of that.
Yeah, so they're really going to have to come up with an answer for that. You're going to need some help from Vengeful Spirit and maybe even Enchantress from the bottom lane to get some kills off on that, because they can't let Ricky free farm getting first blood. That's not what they're looking to do right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Animate has spent his time, trying to get a kill on Calculus. That failed, so that missed out on a little bit of CS there. Meanwhile, Ricky, they attempted their first blood attempt, and they got it. So that's a huge burst of gold for the Dire side. They're already, let's look at the gold lead. There's already 750. It's 3 minutes in, and gold lead, it doesn't mean much. But 750 lead for the Dire. And that just goes to show, first blood's so critically important sometimes early on in this laning phase.
Yep. It's not, the gold is important, obviously, but just the mindset you usually get in from getting that first blood is extremely helpful. Puts the positive momentum in on your team. Bit of a dive there in the top lane.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy just diving past that tier 1 so far. I see him taking a lot of damage from the tower, but she hasn't thrown any of her regen, obviously. She doesn't take harassment back like Venge does from a Windrunner. Windrunner level 4 already, so things are going very well for the Dire right now. Clockwork is half of Windrunner's level, and also they already achieved the first blood, obviously. In middle, looking at the CS right now, Lucky One is 6-1, while this SK is 18-5. So every single lane for the Dire is winning right now, pretty much.
That's not too unexpected, I think, in the early game. I think, like I said before, I think it's going to be really important for them, for the Radiant rather, to try to make it out of the laning phase with their Animage not dying continually. And I think they'll have a fighting chance to take back some of that losses they sustained in the early game.
Yeah, and also a lot of pressure is going to be on the supports if they can keep down this Riki, or at least be able to counter the ganks that come in. Once he gets that purge from Diffusal, On top of an Animage, if he ever gets that cloud, Animage is not making out of it pretty much every single time. Just the extra damage on top of the slows, it's just way too much. So it's going to be rely heavily on them to be able to hit some counter ganks, and then also can keep this Riki down. But as it stands right now, he's already level 5. He's obviously has a very high gold per minute. He's going to be getting a very fast items as it goes on. Interesting little strat here. Venomancer with the wards coming in from behind. They're pushing this tower right away. They do not care. And actually, here comes the smoke coming in from the Vengeful Spirit on top of Enchantress with the wards. They throw a stun onto the Riki. Can they lock him down? Clockwork trying to hit a pop. But a nice little blink coming out from Riki. Well done. So they do at least get the deny. But still, at the same time, that's a tier 1 tower down at 5 minutes in. Yes, they would like to get that extra gold, but still, actually jumping back in here. They're going to try and jump on this Clockwork. One more hit. He goes down. He's not locked down, and he's not level 5. He didn't pick up level 6 from that kill, but he does pick up the Enchantress at least. Shadow Shaman coming back in, trying to do what he can, but still, 2 kills and a deny. Very well done for the Dire. And on top of that, they're leaving Windrunner to solo Animage now at this point. They had their supports go top, which is going to give Windrunner a huge room to farm. You know, Animage can't really jump on her by himself. She's just going to throw Windrun and just harass every single time. And she's going to be getting some much-needed CS.
Yeah, not pretty... I'm just checking out what they're leveling. Everything looks pretty standard so far. No levels in Caustic Finale for the Sand King. Not really surprised since they were going 2-on-1 in that lane. Makes sense.
Yeah,
Venomancer doing some ward jungling. Top lane.
And I don't know, this Riki, I mean, now that they've taken that top tier 1 tower, Riki's just going to have a free farm lane. And Clockwork can't really go there at all. He doesn't have an escape. Riki's just, I mean, he just destroys Clockwork so heavily. It's not like Cog does anything for him versus a Riki. So that's just a free lane. They're going to have to give it up unless they try and change the lanes around. And usually you don't want to try and interrupt an Animage's farm.
And it's really interesting. Balsam is so not afraid of this lane that he didn't put level 6 in Invis.
Crazy.
As Riki, he's like, man, this lane's fine. I'm just going to keep farming. And that's going to work really well for him if he wants to look to compete with the Animage in the later part of the game. So I think that's smart by him. I really like everything that he was doing. He's doing a really good job.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, really, they don't have very good ganking heroes. They can't really take out a Riki at this point. I mean, what do they really have? They have Avenge and they have Shadow Shaman, and if you take them away and try and gank the Riki at this point, that just takes away so far. And if it's a failed gank, it's just a huge loss for your team. So it's not like Enchantress provides a whole lot, because usually a Riki will just be able to blink away by the time the creep gets there. So it's just going to be so hard for them to gank, and I agree. Riki picking up, maxing out his blink and his backstab before he even goes into invis, I think is a very smart play. Just increases offensive abilities. If Clockwork did stay in that lane, he was just all the more fucked because of it.
Yeah, there's not even anyone up there, and it looks like he might even go down again.
Yeah, they're jumping in, and Clockwork taking a lot of damage from his Venomancer. Oh no!
Ooh, so that was rough for Clockwork right there. Burrow strike in by Sand King. He might have made it out. A little bit of a collision there with Atsi. That might have cost him his life right there. But Enchantress looking to put on a little bit of pressure on S4.
Yeah, and they do trade 2 level 4s, so not a bad trade, but all around still. Riki's free farming top. He's now actually pushing in the lane a little bit, and Windrunner's also farming away as well. Animage, looking at his CS right now, he is 46 and 5, actually jumping in on this Windrunner, but again, Windrunner goes off, he just does harassment. He now has his phase boots, and that's the time where once you get phase boots on a Windrunner versus an Animage, that's where you're really able to start winning the lane again. And so that's just so huge that they had to pull the Vengeful Spirit away from that lane, and now Calculus has the farm to really be able to deal one-on-one with an Animage.
Yep. I have to get some sort of really perfect engagement. I mean, he does have his Vanguard already at 9 minutes. That's pretty good. You know, generally you like to look for at least 50 creep kills by 10 minutes, and he does have that already. But Riki also has that without a problem, and he's got a couple kills on top, so that helps.
Yeah, there's definitely a farm advantage with those extra kills to the Riki. Clockwork is now trying to put up. Sand King actually jumping in, throws the ultimate, and he does get it off. I'm really surprised he was able to get it off where the Vengeful Missile hit. but he does get it, and he pops off the Vengeful Spirit, so very well done by that Sank.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Vengeful Spirit just wasn't quite paying attention all the way or what, but he had that magic missile off cooldown, and he waited until it was done channeling to throw out the stun. You know, once it's done channeling, it just goes. Even if he dies, it continues. So, I don't know, maybe a little bit of a misclick or not quite paying attention there by Atsi, but cost him his life in the end.
Well, we're going to see the maxing out from Wards doing some great job pushing in middle and putting a lot of pressure. I mean, this Shadow Shaman has not been allowed pretty much at all to win his lane in any way. And because of that, he's not able to put any pressure on any towers. He'd have to go somewhere else as it stands right now to put a pressure on a tower. And all the lanes are being pushed. Rainrunner's even pushing her lane. Right now, Animage is middle. And I'm not really sure why. I'm not really sure if I agree with that, having them pull an Animage away from his farm so they can try and push in middle. I'm not sure if I agree with that.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not sure it was completely necessary. I mean, they have Enchantress, and then he puts the wards down, but S4 coming in with the Burrow Strike here to try to disrupt it, but I think that was a little bit of an overextension. It does have the Sandstorm, but the dust is there, and that's going to be the end of him.
At the same time, Riki does pick up the Enchantress kill. Now Venomancer is going to go down easily. And wards are almost down, so at very least, they're not going to be having that tier 1 tower taking any more damage from that. Now Riki's coming back in. Now that Smoke is dead, they're going on the Animage. Smoke goes off, and there goes the Animage. Can he get out? Almost one more. Oh, man. I don't know what he was doing. He was kind of moving. Like, he didn't move up, and then he moved left. He just, when you're in a smoke like that, you just got to move one direction, get out of the silence, and try and blink. But he goes down. Oh my goodness! Look at that Crystal Maiden. Due to rockets, 20 health. Crazy.
Someone's paying for the clockwork to shoot a missile over there, but.
All right. Well, Windrunner does also pick up a tower. Your suicide lane is picking up tower kills at 11.5 minutes in. That's a very bad sign for the Radiant side. And it looks like Tier 1's going to go down as well. They have nobody in there to protect it right now. Shadow Shaman's the only hero, and he is not enough. So Riki picks up now another tower kill, and looks at the gold per minute. He's now 478.
Calculus in the bottom just went down. He tried to TP out of there, and Atsi swapped him. And then Vile was able to pick up the last of that kill.
Well, at least there is some sort of glimmer of hope. Giving away that kill does definitely help out the Radiant very much. I mean, right now we're talking about a 470 gold per minute on this Riki. That's rather insane and so hard to deal with. And it's not like that's the only gold on their team. Sand King is over 350. Calculus, the suicide lane, is at 350. That's just insane. So they're going to have their team fight items very soon, and they're going to be able to deal, because of that, they're going to have their team fight items. They're going to be able to deal with the Riki very early on. A push stick is so huge against the Riki. And
Riki has a 12-minute diffusal blade.
Oh, man.
That's pretty brutal. We'll have to see what item he chooses to go for next. He also has his treads finished up, so he's not even that delicate at this point. He's got 800 health. It's pretty decent for a hero that can turn invisible.
Yeah, definitely. If he places a proper cloud here, he can definitely take out this Animage. I mean, with the maxing out of the backstab, unfortunately, Cloud, Smoke being level 1, it's kind of risky, but still, it's a good enough Cloud combined with Purge right off the bat.
Wow.
3-shotting him.
Holy crap. That's so fast.
Poor guy. Clockwork. Trying to lock down this guy. Dust goes off. Maybe they can pick off this Riki now. Wards go out, and they lock down the Riki. Oh, Shackle Shot coming out from Calculus. What a huge play, and now Riki's going to get away scot-free because of that. Very well done to double kill on the Riki Maru, and now the rest of the Radiant team's going to have to back up. Atsi is caught out. Crystal Maiden trying to chase that one. He's going to be able to hit the nuke, and that's another kill. So 3 heroes down now for the Radiant side, and the only real hope, the only real plus side is Animage's free farming top, but still, that's not enough to counteract a double kill on the Riki Maru.
No, not at all. Looking at the items, already have a Staff of Wizardry here on the Windrunner, so it looks like Windrunner is going to be going straight probably for that 4-staff, but Vile, exactly what you were talking about before, he's caught in the smoke, and the Burrow Strike comes from S4 as well, and that's going to be the end of him, so that's definitely going to negate Riki's kills, but Riki died.
Yeah, that was a monster impetus. That did so much damage. That was absolutely crazy. But Hip, I suppose I should ask you, what if you were in the Radiant's position right now, where it's definitely very much in the favor of the Dire, clearly, and on top of that, the Riki is so incredibly farmed. What do you do as a team? What do you do to try and counteract such a big lead on the Dire side?
I think really their only chance right now is be very careful how they use their Shadow Shaman. Try to get a tower kill or two with his wards, but the most important thing is going to be to make sure that they can have the Anti-Mage farming and not dying. Every time Anti-Mage dies is like 10% of their chance of winning just going away, especially with the position they're already in.
Absolutely. Looks like we're going to see a team fight. Calculus kind of cut out here. He does hit a great shackle shot, but she's going to go down anyway. And now S4, great job using the stun to go over the cliff. He might be able to get out now. And now Ricky coming in. He does get Hex down. And Reek, Shadow Shaman, he's going to be able to leash as well. And Ricky gets caught out. And now Animage is just going to perform cleanup crew. But oh, Sand King coming in. A big ultimate on that Shadow Shaman at least with his Blink Dagger that he just got up. And with the double damage, he's going to do some serious work. Oh no, Cogs.
Oh, nice Cogs.
Locking him in with the Enchantress. That is so bad. Seldo just absolutely screwing his teammate. And with the double damage, he could probably take out... Oh, he actually doesn't have enough mana. And Animage is just going to be chasing around this Venomancer while Sand King Cog goes off. Can he get out? He doesn't have enough mana, and they just both need to get out. The heroes are reviving now. And Animage cleanup crew is on alert. They're just going to pick up both these kills easily. Do they have a swap? Anything? Oh, man. Well, at least they'll be able to pick up the Sand King kill.
Yep.
So, really big misplay by the Dire side. They kind of threw away a bit of their lead. They're still definitely going to have a heavy gold lead, but having the Riki die pretty much without doing anything was just a huge factor in that team fight.
Yeah, checking out that gold graph, you can see that fight right there. There's a pretty huge curve in the graph. Big difference than what it was before. At least gives them some kind of response.
Yeah, but go ahead. Sorry.
I don't know. It's that Anti-Mage, I think he just needs to concentrate on farming, which is what he's doing right now. And he did pick up Blades of Electricity, so it looks like Alacrity, whatever. How do you think that's pronounced? Alacrity?
Alacrity, yeah.
Alacrity. All right, so it looks like he's probably going to be going for Yasha into a mana style. Interesting. In this situation, I guess that might be a little safer, but it almost seems to me like they need for him to get a Battle Fury and just go farm. But maybe they've got some other ideas of how they can take this game into the late game. Have to see.
Yeah, maybe they spile out this this illusion, and they're gonna try Enchantress taking over the illusion now. Instead of slowing it, he takes over the illusion themselves, and now they're gonna have their own little Invis Riki spying out. And that's gonna help out Animage actually quite a bit. And yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure if I agree with the Battle Fury pickup or not. I mean, it is kind of late for him, and he didn't really get the farm, I suppose. He needed. Manta's gonna provide a lot of help for him against this Riki. But at the same time, you're kind of right where he needs to be able to boost his farm as fast as humanly possible. Otherwise, you just sort of extend that period where Riki's dominating over you. And it looks like we're going to see some action in mid. Renner picks up the Vengeful Spirit kill, but now he's pushed in, and in the tower range, he's going to get caught out here. So trading himself for a Vengeful Spirit, not really the best play in the world. But Riki now has an Ogre Club. So once he gets that BKB, he's pretty much going to be unstoppable for like 25 minutes, pretty much. Pretty much at the rate of this Animage's farm, he's going to be dominating the game for quite a while once he picks up that BKB.
Yeah, it's going to be really hard for them to deal with that. If he can be out of their stuns and things like that, it's going to be tough for them. And Vile completely caught out in the middle.
Yeah, that was really poor play by the Animage. You can't just get overly aggressive like that. Unlike what they're doing right now, they're just sort of like the Venomancer is just spamming wards into the Roshan pit. And now with the Animage pickup, now that they have that hero advantage, they're definitely going to be able to pick up Roshan, I think, for free. I don't really think that the rest of the team is in a good enough position. Clockwork is level 9, I guess. I guess that is a decent little pickup. So if they ever figure out, but unfortunately they don't have the wards for it. So they're just going to try and push in mid, and Roshan's going to be dead by then. So that's another big pickup. We're going to see BKB and Aegis soon on this Riki. That's just it's so hard to come back from. They're going to have to make a lot of mistakes as a Dire for the Radiant to come back anytime soon. Either that or the Radiant's just going to have to turtle very, very, very hard.
Yeah, I think that's almost their only option at this point because, I mean, we've seen what happens pretty repeatedly. What happens when they try to push out and do something a little aggressive, they just get wiped. And they're in a tough position, but they still have a chance. You always have a chance. I feel like there's two heroes in this game where you always have a chance. Nature's Prophet and Animage. So we'll have to see. They're just gonna have to protect him. But look, there's 3 heroes converging on him right now.
And with a combination of the Blink, Sand King though he doesn't try and, oh, but Riki coming in from behind. That's easily a kill. I mean, Animage, look at the best thing, he can't even get out of the cloud. The best thing he can do to survive the longest is turn around and try and fight Riki. And that's just not what you want to see. Unfortunately, he's just, actually, Windrunner here trying to push herself, but at the same time she gets swapped, so she goes even farther into enemy territory. Can he hit a shackle shot? Oh, they were just so mixed apart. A little bit too far apart between the Clockwork and the Enchantress, and they're going to be able to push out from this, hopefully. They do have the Shadow Shaman wards. They're not level 11, but at the same time, the tier 2 at top is being threatened, and this is definitely not going to be the best trade in the world. I mean, a tier 1 for a tier 2 is just, obviously, there's a big gold advantage to the Dire for this move. But at the same time, I guess they get that little bit of gold for the Animage that might be helpful. Animage still doesn't have his Yasha, though. And that's just 20 minutes in, all he has is Vanguard and not a Yasha. That's really painful.
Not ideal, obviously. And trading a tier 1 for a tier 2, also not ideal when you're already behind. So, that's, I mean, I understand why they did it, but...
Yeah. I mean, really, maybe that little gold, I was going to say that little bit of gold influx might just, you know, help that Animage just get pushed to that Manta a little bit faster, but he's so far from it. It's just crazy. Going over items here, we're going to see Shadow Shaman with Arcane Boost, pretty much. Animage, we've already talked about him. Clockwork now with the Vitality Booster and a little bit of tankiness. He now has a Ring of Health as well as the Cloak, so we're going to see a Pipe, hopefully sometime soon out of him, because otherwise this Animage is getting crushed on top of just, you know, the automatic 3 key just crushed him. The spells coming out are kind of just crushing his small health that he already has. Over on the other team, though, Calculus, sometime soon. Let's see Riki with Aegis and the Diffusal Blade, as well as an Ogre Club, so picking up that BKB.
Yeah, he's got some good bank, too.
Soon.
Yeah, he's almost
there.
Is
that BKB flying? No, that's not it. Damn. We got the Sand King with the Blink Dagger, and then Crystal Main just picked up an Urn of Shadows. So, and then Venomancer looks like is going to be the one. Venomancer is going to be grabbing the mech, it looks like, and Windrunner is going to be grabbing the pipe.
Yeah. And I don't know, it's going to be hard. It's going to be really hard for the Radiant here. They're going to do their best, obviously, but I'm a little disappointed with how they approached the beginning of this game, because they should have known that they had a weaker early game than the Dire. Their picks were not really conducive to early game aggression, so I don't know. I'm definitely going to go back and rewatch this. I know they got caught out a few times and it sort of just spiraled out of control. Oh, huge epicenter from S4 as well as a blink strike in from Riki, able to pick up the kill on Shadow Shaman. Zeldo is also going to go down. Yeah, so I will keep talking until he comes back. So, yeah, we see that the Dire team here is pushing in on the tier 3 tower. And in the meantime, Phil is just farming away here in the bottom lane all by himself, which is smart for him. Riki picking up a kill here in the middle, in the center of the base. And it looks like the Enchantress is on his way out. And we lost our co-caster here for a minute, but he'll be back shortly, I hope.
I'm here now. So I don't know what that was. I just sort of had a hiccup there.
Yeah, you dropped out of the game too. Your internet just dropped for a second. But looks like that Team Megashock here is going to be losing their tier 3 tower.
Oh man, Clockwork just getting cleaned up. Look at this Riki doing work. At that BKB, he just crushes everything, and that's gonna be racks. Man, that's just crazy how just quickly. I mean, the moment he picked up BKB, I'm presuming, I'm not sure, you know, how that team fight went, but I'm presuming just that BKB on the Riki just absolutely crushed the team fight. Is that right?
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened. I mean, it's really hard for them to deal with him at this point. Sinking, sandstormed in range of the tower. And they were able to get vision on him and take him down without a problem. So it looks like
well, hopefully Crystal Maiden, well, she gets caught out, but I'm just kind of hoping they back up here. I mean, they don't want to throw away too much more. They can pick up more kills.
Oh my god!
Look at him go, two-shotting Shadow Shaman.
doing 150 damage. He's got that Fusel Blade.
Oh dear, diving fountains. Those big cogs crushing him. Ward's coming out. Maybe he throws the dust now. If he could just stay in the smoke and hope the rest of the allies go in there. He's trying to get out, but he's definitely done for. He's going to be able to pop the Aegis, and none of his allies are around. So he might be crushed a second time. Can he blink out, the question is? No, he is done for.
Yeah, that was rough for him. But he's got his Yasha. Looks like he's also going to be going for that mana style. That's popular in Ricky.
Yeah, I mean, I know that they have like a 14,000 lead, but that's what I was saying. I was just hoping they would back up. I mean, they obviously very clearly have this game in the palm of their hands. It's just, you know, versus Animage, why take those chances? You know, why not just back up, farm some more, and then take the racks and end the game as fast as humanly possible. I mean, 25 minutes taking a racks, that's just monstrous. This Sand now with level 16 with his epicenter, that by itself can just crush Animage. He only has 1100 health. The spell reduction is going to help a lot, but you combo anything against that Animage on top of epicenter is just going to absolutely destroy him. Looks like we're going to see Venomancer and Crystal Maiden come in bottom sometime soon. And they might actually, unless Animage stays a little bit too long, we're going to see the slow. Comes out more stuns. Frostbite, chaining stuns a little bit too much, but here comes the Crystal Maiden ult. Can they big? Oh man, the blink combined with swamp, and that's just going to be way too much for them to chase. And still though, a nice little attempt by the team.
Yeah, it was a smart combo for them to get out of there. He was pretty lucky that Vengeful Spirit was in the area to give him the swap out. But you know, it was a good attempt. It's definitely what they need to do. Just keep shutting down Animage and keep doing what they're doing, and they're going to have this game won pretty easily.
Yeah, absolutely. And they can do basically one or two things here. They can either like take the two outer two towers and back up and just kind of farm until Roshan is back up and just kind of keep pressure that way, or they can just go all in and push in the bottom tier 2 and then go for the tier 3 and threaten the bottom racks. Because I mean, already at this early on, the fact that the top racks are dead, those bigger creeps do so much damage, and they just don't have the capabilities to just burst out that lane and go right back to bottom real quick. So they're always going to have a hero who either top's always going to be threatened, which in that case they just shouldn't push, they just sort of static sit there, or they're going to have one hero away, and that's when they can get really aggressive. And it's going to be, Dire's going to have to make some big mistakes, or the Radiant's going to have to make some really amazing plays here in the defense of this bottom racks.
Yeah, and it's gonna be really hard for them. I mean, they're pretty much all gathered up, but the Clockwork is over in the top defending against that Gone Rax, but he's making his way down there. But
yeah, I guess the one good thing is that Clockwork, I mean, with his ultimate, he at least doesn't have to run too far. Sand King doing a little bit of initiation, but it doesn't look like they're gonna truly go in there. Just a little bit of potential harassment there, and also cleared the wave out. So again, that just means I think they're doing a great job so far already. I mean, they set up Venomancer wards right in front of the tower, and then they force heroes like Shadow Shaman right now. He has to go top, and they can just do little bits of damage until they see a great opportunity. Until the Radiant makes a big mistake in some sort of positioning, they can just sit there. Sand King, once again, throwing in a stun, and this time they're going to jump in, but the Vengeful Seer gets a swap out. BKB on Riki. Oh, and getting caught by the shackle shot by Calculus. What a huge play. Crystal Maiden might go down here, and Chance is trying to pop the squishies as well as she can. But CM is going to get out. The buyback from Animage, they might be able to pick off some heroes here, but they're still 5 up, and they turn to this Animage. Hex coming out, huge stun from this Sand King, and it's 2 heroes. Cogs kind of missing there, and now Riki's going to try and get away from this Animage before he comes back in. Animage, if they can lock him down, there it goes. Look at all the damage. But Animage pops the Riki in return with the ultimate. But Clockwork is the only heroes left alive, and with poison on him, he's going to go down. And so now it's only a 5-for-1 trade, and on top of that, wards are up. They're easily going to be able to push this tower, and GG, well played, coming out. Well, not even 30 minutes in.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised they GG'd after that fight. They did everything they could. They had some really good engagements. Animage even bought back and died again. You know, really great play by Tough Bananas. They're a pretty new team into the scene. Calculus used to play for SK. but forming a new team now, and they're making their way through this tournament without a problem. I mean, Megashock was #2 in last season, and in this game at least, they made them look not like the greatest team in the world. I mean, they played so well.
Yeah, and I kind of felt that the first game was sort of always constantly in their advantage, and it was just, even though it was a long game and there were a couple great moves in, I always kind of felt that Calculus's team was going to pull it out. In the game 2, though, that was an insane game, back and forth, much closer than this one. But
yeah,
we're just going to sort of bullshit our way until the throne's dead.
Yep, I saw that at the end of the last game. It was super long, right? It was like 60 minutes. So I jumped into the game and I checked out the goal graph, and they had a huge advantage even at the end of the game when they lost. But obviously, when a game goes to like 60 minutes like that, some really like weird things can happen. And if you make one like tiny little mistake in the late game, in the beginning of the game, it might cost you like a hero. But like in the late game, that you just lose. So like if you have one bad engagement with 3 heroes die, it's almost impossible for you to win, which is sort of what it looked like it happened in the last game, and Megashock was able to take advantage of that and get a victory. But in this game, I mean, playing so well. They dominated the early game exactly like they needed to with them. But even if they had not made it out of the early game, their Ricky, oh my god, thanking for the double kill on the fountain.
Veil plus level 16 epicenter. It's just too good.
Oh my god. But like I was saying, in this game, they did a really good job in the early game, and they had a plan, even if they did not do super well in the early game with that Ricky, and he had the proper farm to take it into the late game, but they didn't even need to.
All right, well, we're gonna wrap this out. Hip, you got any last comments, any shoutouts, anything like that?
Yeah, dude. Thanks for casting on last minute. Thank you for G Sports for hosting such a great tournament. There's gonna be another game on Thursday at 18 Central European Time. That's 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. It's gonna be Absolute Legends going up against Prior. I'm gonna be casting that, and you can check out gsports.com for that link for my stream. So yeah, thanks again for coming and having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for joining me. Give me my vocal cords a little bit of rest after 2 60-minute games in a row. That was and a lot of screaming going down. All right, guys, we're going to wrap this up. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. We got the Twitch TV. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm going to shout outs to, of course, my lovely girlfriend who is on the chat, the Arwin Evanstar. Shout out to her. She's awesome. She's actually helping us with a little bit with the site. She's running the media stuff. So a shout out to her, and then shout out to my friend Insane Rabbi, and of course a big shout out to Holy for the win. He's the guy who's starting this DotaLive.net, and he was our streamer today. So a big thank you to him for doing recording all the streams and that sort of thing. I know he's very tired, but and also thank you to Hip for joining me. And I don't know when we're going to be casting us, but we are trying to get at least 3 to 4 times a week trying to do streams. So please, if you haven't already, please follow us on those different media sites, and I always try and get, announce it on there that we're going to be streaming this sort of thing. So please follow us on those, and we'll see you guys later. Bye.